The Department of Justice was spending a little bit of Christmas time. They have some free time, looking around, opening the cabinets, looking under the bed, looking under the car, getting rid of some old clothes, seeing what was behind there in the closet. And somewhere they found, they were going, what the heck? They found a big pile of Epstein files. And sent out this pretty shocking post. Obviously, I'm being silly about where they found it. It was just somewhere on a computer, probably. But the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the FBI have informed the Department of Justice that they have uncovered over 1 million more documents potentially related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The DOJ have released these documents from the Southern District of New York, and the FBI to review them for release in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, existing statutes, and judicial orders. We have lawyers working around the clock to make sure that the redactions happen, etc. And you had Ben Meiselas saying after our reporting about more documents being somewhere not yet released and not yet referenced by the DOJ, he then said after our reporting, the DOJ said it found over 1 million new documents from the Southern District of New York. So the original post from him was this email from Epstein, Southern District of New York prosecutors in 2020 suggests there are approximately 1.2 million records being imaged in just this one hard drive. There are likely other hard drives as well. I would not be surprised if there are actually tens of millions of records. So they found more that they didn't know about before. Pretty notable. You then have someone who is a former judge of one of Trump's teen beauty pageants saying, look into the teen beauty pageants.
When it comes to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, the media is missing the smoking gun. Now, I've sat on this information for years, and I really didn't want to get into this because this is not in my job description, and it's very dangerous to come out with this publicly. The smoking gun is Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. The pageants which Donald Trump owned for years. Now, how do I know? Because I was one of the judges in these pageants. I trained dozens and dozens of the winners and the runners-up in public speaking to promote their platform. This is all I'm going to say about this. If you're in the media and you're looking for information, start with Billy Bush. Billy Bush hosted the Miss USA, Miss Teen USA multiple times. Nancy O'Dell is another one. And then go down the rabbit hole from there. There are people that know a lot more than those two, but start there. They're celebrities, and start there, go down the rabbit hole. And I think what you're going to find is going to be very, very upsetting. Don't call me. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going on TV and talking about this. This is very dangerous to sit on. If you decide to pursue this in the media, be very, very careful. These people are dangerous.
So, number one, I agree that there's a lot there that is disgusting that we've heard about, and just, I'm going to say it again. What the heck is the purpose of a teen beauty pageant? Why is that even a concept? We're going to have adults, and I guess adult men, judge how pretty teenage girls are as they walk across a stage, and then creeps like Trump are gonna own them and then walk around and maybe go backstage. The whole concept's gross, and I'm sure there's a lot there to be learned. Secondarily, what were you doing judging a teen beauty pageant, sir? Sorry. Weird. Third, what am I on? Thirdly, what do you mean you're not going to say more? Because it's dangerous. Well, get some bravery and do it. Especially now there's so many eyes on this. You're going to be fine. Whatever you know, make it public, or at least call out who you think knows the stuff. And what are you saying? I agree that there's just so much gross there, but say it. To be like, there's a lot that people should know, but ask someone else about it. Come on, dude. Judging beauty pageants. But yeah, that is just a creep fest. And Trump has made that very clear. Now, on the whole Epstein ordeal, I'll never get over how confusing and mind-bending the explanations from people like Alex Jones are, because they have to take it seriously, but then they also have to kind of defend their support for Trump. And now they're doing this whole Trump, we looked at earlier in the show, Trump sending out that post saying, "Merry Christmas to all except for the sleazebags who were really close friends with Epstein, but then pretended like they distanced themselves, but went to his parties and called him great." And as you're reading it, you're like, is he he's not? Oh, he's not talking about himself? Oh, he's talking about somebody else? So he's trying to do like this, everyone else is really guilty and not me, despite how many times I'm coming up in all these documents. And so then the diehard supporters of Trump are doing this weird thing where they're like, yeah, he's about to drop the hammer on the real perpetrators. Yeah. Watch this. While you do, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show and these segments. We do work hard to make this show the best that it can be. All we ask from you is that you click the subscribe button, which is free.
How many times you heard me say this is what Trump needs to do? How many times? Probably about 2,000? How many times I say on air, they're going to set you up, Trump? Again, it's not like they came to him and said, cover it up, sir. It's like, it's a big mess, and, a lot of it's innuendo, and innocent people in there, and it's old, and we're not sure, and, well, what's in it? Well, just a lot of really horrible stuff, and all these leaders, all these people, and he's like, what? Thousands of Democrats? What? He goes, okay, well, just tell them, leave me alone, I'll leave them alone, since it's such a big mess, which was a mistake. Because the CIA is like, sir, it'll bring down the country. And then they turn right around and do this, and Trump's like, all right, that's it. Fine. He even said like a couple weeks ago, he goes, fine, it may destroy the economy. Remember I told you that over a year ago. He said, fine, it may just destroy everything, but it may destroy the whole country, but okay, fine. Yes, I told you exactly how this would go. Well, this is very pleasing because it's not going to destroy the country. It's going to destroy them. God's watching. All we got to do is go at these people, and God will take care of everything else. God wants courage. He wants evil run over and destroyed. Okay? We'll get so much prosperity out of this, it'll make your head spin. Guaranteed. I mean, we start convicting these people and hanging them. Woo! God's going to rain gold from the sky.
I am making this historic announcement on Friday, December 12th, 2025. The future of InfoWars hangs in the balance.
Wow, that was abrupt. Now give me money, is what he's saying. Give me money. So what's the argument there? I'm really lost. So Trump, okay, let me try to translate that for you because it was a lot of shouting and weird laughing, but here's what he's saying. All the people actually implicated are Democrats. Trump saw the documents and didn't see his name in them a bunch of times, despite us all seeing that now. But saw Democrats and thought this is such a large web of Democrats, for some reason it would take down the country if it were revealed. So leave me alone and I'll leave you alone and we'll both just cover up the document. Despite during that same time it only being Democrats who were unanimously pushing for them to be released. Okay, but apparently he made a deal with the devil. This is something Alex has been saying for a while. To agree he'll cover up the documents if they'll leave him alone and let him do great things for the country. So then he realized that they kept bothering him. So the same, this is so hard. How does he do this? It's almost impressive how you think of this many contradictory things in your brain and not just popping. So he made a deal with the deep state, which is Democrats, which is all the actual perpetrators. I won't let them release the Epstein files unless you leave me alone. Whatever that means. But then those Democrats kept pushing for them to be released for some reason. So then it got released and they forced him into it. So now he's going, well, F it. We're gonna bring down the house. We're gonna burn this thing to the ground. And that's what he meant in his Christmas post, saying, "This may be your last Christmas." Saying many sleazebags who love Jeffrey Epstein, but not me. I was not one of them. Everybody else was. And it was all Democrats. But here's what doesn't work about Alex's theory. The documents are being released. Some with crazy redactions. Some with crazy redactions that you can undo. They're finding more. They're releasing them. And that story is not coming true. So how is he spinning this web still when it doesn't even fit in what we're learning? Like, what was he saying? Okay, so he's saying that Trump knew there was nothing really bad about him, but now he's going to really blow the lid off of all the bad things about Democrats, and that's what the big warning was. I saw that from a right-wing account echoing kind of what Alex Jones is saying, who said, if I can find this post, there was some right-wing account that was like, Trump sends out warning to the radical left or something. Let's see. Here it is. President Trump shoots a warning shot at friends of Epstein. Well, then he's shooting at himself, Nick. Nick Sorter says Trump shoots out a warning shot at friends of Epstein. What even is the warning? Okay, let's imagine that's true. How are you saying anything Trump does now is acceptable or someone you can trust or of high character if you believe up until this point he was in on a deal to cover for anyone? Even if you think it was for Democrats and it was a deal so he could do his agenda, which is just ridiculous given what we're learning. But let's imagine that were true. You believe it was okay for him to agree to cover up a sex trafficking ring because he thought it would hurt too many people? Even if it weren't him? Now, these are the same documents where there's literally rape allegations against Trump in them. So you can go, well, those aren't true. Okay. But that's the type of stuff clearly he didn't want to be published and why he was freaking out. Do you really want me to believe that something you've never shown a shred of evidence of, which is actually this was always a deep state conspiracy that Trump was trying to dismantle, but then made a deal with the devil so that they don't interfere with his administration, that is more plausible than he just didn't want headlines like this? Explosive claims in an FBI tip about President Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein gained new weight this week after a local newspaper uncovered death record consistent with details described in the tip. We went over this, but I'll remind you, in 2020, the FBI received a tip from an individual who said they had driven a passenger who alleged she was sexually assaulted by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The individual who submitted the tip claimed that they later learned their passenger had died and was found with their head blown off. And there was claims that initially it wasn't believed to be a suicide. Again, these are claims based on a tip that could be fake. But I'm sure Trump, regardless, didn't want this stuff out. The FBI tip was made public Tuesday as part of the Justice Department's ongoing release. And the DOJ, right before this batch came out, sent that post saying, hey, we're about to release all this stuff, but it's definitely all wrong. A 19-year-old student from Kiefer died on January 10th, 2000, according to death notices in 2 newspapers. So at least it lines up with the tip on that front, but they could have already known that happened and then just made a vague story about it, right? But it's still disturbing stuff about a driver hearing Trump say a bunch of stuff and then separately hearing, or maybe a different driver, now I'm getting them mixed up, but hearing someone say that they were raped by Trump, encouraging them to report it, and then ultimately feeling that it was suspicious the way that person died, not thinking it was suicide. So that and a bunch of and he was on the flight this time and this time with Ghislaine and that and that. All of that is not actually what Trump was concerned with. It was not wanting the financial system to be impacted by other powerful people who would have been implicated, according to Alex Jones. Then you have this a psychological evaluation of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein deemed him a low risk for suicide a month before he was found dead. Inmate Epstein adamantly denied any suicidal ideation, intention, or plan, said the chief psychologist. So, who knows? We won't know. I don't think there's any document that's going to answer that question. But there it is. They found new documents. Maybe we'll learn more about it very soon.